How's it going? It's been a while since I've posted a video, but I've been more than busy. I mean, I've been busy, but the last few days I've been just be trying to meet a deadline. I haven't had not even minutes to scratch my as they say. Anyway, so I have a question I'm going to address. Marius writes in, he says, "Hey Jim, what solution or funnel or system would you recommend to network marketers? I want to select them as my target market for they are very dedicated to their cause, vitamins, detergents, business, etc. Even being a bit obsessed or fanatical, if one can say that. I see potential in this group. If you roll out a box solution to a small team that is later adapted by a company and is used by some thousands, that can pay really well in the long run. Replicated WordPress blogs, replicated sites, webinar jam style, pre-recorded sessions with funnels were a big hit earlier. How would you pre-package a system for them these days? What type of funnel would you use, or what sequence of activities or pages would you set up? I know M. Dillard Plus, his content was part of his mentoring class for 2 years. I know the online marketing syndicate gurus and their content. I'm interested in growth hacking these days. I'd appreciate your thoughts on this. Cheers, Marius." Now, I don't know how useful my response is going to be, to be honest, because I think that this whole network marketers, my best audience is network marketers business is kind of it's a little overused. It's overdone, I should say. But I'm going to go ahead and give my response anyway to the best of my abilities, and hopefully you will, somebody will find value in it. So I guess what he's asking about is, I think from what I understand of the question, he's looking to create essentially a replicated marketing system for network marketing companies, or for a network marketing company, which would then be once proven, perhaps adopted, maybe sold to the company itself. Now, there was a time, I think, when network marketing companies were kind of still stuck in the non-internet days, and most of them didn't approve of using the internet and stuff like that. And so to come along and create an internet marketing version of the network marketing company was sort of a big deal. Now, I think there's a few problems that you're going to have to deal with. Okay, so one of them is that how are you going to get traffic? If you're planning to get traffic, let's say using Google or Facebook, and you're trying to do it by saying, "Hey, get rich in your underwear," or get rich. This lazy bum who was sitting around doing nothing, living out of his parents' basement, whatever, school dropout, etc., went from making $0 to $50,000 a month. Click to learn more, sort of thing. You're probably going to get kicked off, and you will not be able to get much traffic. So one of the biggest problems you're going to have is, where are you going to get your traffic, and how will you get it? Now, I do know how you might get the traffic. All right. The way to get it would be to go and look at recruiting business people. Because honestly, the only reason you're going after people in this way, and this is part of the reason why I have my issues with the ethical boundaries of network marketing, it is because it's not so much, if you were selling business stuff, a business to a business-minded person, it wouldn't be an issue. If you're dealing with somebody who's used to taking business risks, who understands how business works, there isn't really an issue. You're selling essentially what network marketing turns out to be, is a small franchise. And that's not really there's nothing scammy about that. There's nothing wrong with it. The problem is that when you're going after regular people, and you're going after them in a way that is suited to going after regular people, anyone can do this, do it on the side. You can all the stuff that people do. I don't want to get into the advertising, but if you take a look at, for example, as a model, look at how websites that sell franchises are selling themselves. Go take a look at what a franchise business is doing to promote itself. Your typical McDonald's, Subway, the other types of, have a look at different types, obviously not just these because they're probably not close enough to the sort of thing that you are selling. So take a look at a few different businesses that are selling franchises and model your landing page experience and your advertising around that. Okay, if you do that, you're not going to get into any trouble. You will be able to advertise on Google, Facebook, and the places where you can easily get traffic and lots of it and not have any trouble with getting traffic. And then what you want to do after you've done that, you want to solve a couple of problems for the people who are going to be joining you. Number one is, of course, getting them a constant flow of leads. And number two is priming those leads for them so that when they get to the point that they're talking to them, they are pretty much ready to go. Okay, so I don't know about adopting it for thousands of people. I wouldn't, personally, I don't think that like what I just described doesn't suit that kind of a model, right? What this suits, though, is if you are going to go out and look for some movers and shakers to really grow a business, okay? So what I would do is I would, if I were doing this, if I decided to, get back into network marketing and really do this thing and do it with, knowing what I know today, what I would do is I would use, say, a WordPress replicated, I'd use WordPress because I believe that WordPress is a really versatile system that allows you to easily customize and create plugins and things like that. So you don't really have to, you can create, you can customize, you can do a lot of stuff without having to go to a lot of very expensive proprietary code. So I would use WordPress as my base. Okay, now I don't believe that you need to do a replicated system. The replicated system is a bad idea. It will not fly on most of the advertising channels, and you're not going to do a good replicated system anyway. The way I would treat it is as a co-op. I'd say that one of the issues is going to be how to get enough advertising money to get as much dominance as possible. So if you've got, let's say you manage to find 5 people willing to spend $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month, okay, per month. So now we're not talking about your typical average Joe. Anyone can come up with $2,000 once, but ask him to do it every month. Now you're talking about somebody who's a business-minded person, an entrepreneur, somebody who understands risk, who gets it. So we're not going after people, your regular average Joe. You're not trying to trick anybody into anything. This is a legitimate business. You take their, and the other thing that I must say is that you cannot be in it to profit from the system. If you're going to be in it and you're going to be part of it, you either profit by selling the system ultimately in the end, or you profit as part of the network marketing team that is actually being built here. That's it. You should not be trying to profit from within the system itself, because the system it's a co-op. You're taking people's money and using it to basically get good resources for everybody. So the first thing that you take the money for is so that you can divvy it up. So you can put it all together into a giant advertising budget. Okay. So you want to take the bulk of the money for that. So let's say that it was $2,000. You take $1,500, for instance, every month from every person for advertising budget. The second thing that you do is you take you find somebody who is somebody who's really good at pay-per-click advertising, whether it's Facebook or Google or whatever it is that you're going to go after, right? And you make that person, so either that person is part of the team and they're getting compensated and sort of, they're getting compensated a little bit from the system and a little bit from being part of the team as a network marketer, or you bring in an external contractor who's going to be doing this specifically. So you want somebody who's really skilled at it to take care of that much money and is being entrusted with people's money. The second thing that you want to do is priming people. And so priming them, I would say you do this through email marketing, and so when people come in and they land on the landing page, you built out a landing page to get people on board, you immediately you rotate basically through the members, so that each member has a turn in getting a piece of the sorry, so every member has an equal share of the subscribers who are coming through. Now, and it's basically just you're cycling through them one at a time. This will probably need some custom code, but it's reasonably easy to build something like that inside of WordPress, so that it will just basically tag each person to a particular, or put him on a list for a person. So I would, if I were doing this, for instance, the way that we are doing it in the Business Command Center, I would use MailPoet. It would be a single site. You don't need multi-site. You have a single site. You have Elementor for your page building, your landing page. You do MailPoet for the email with an SES backend for sending. And then what I do is just that Elementor page, the landing page that you use, you want it to change the list. So you need a little plugin that sort of talks to Elementor and MailPoet. And so you would create a list for every new person who joins your co-op. You create a new mailing list for them. And so this way you would have the opt-in form put each lead will go onto they'll cycle through the lists and go to a different list. And so now that lead belongs to you. When that lead has joined your list, that's your lead, nobody else's lead. Okay. And so the email, now you have an email writer who's a professional email writer whose job it is to write emails that are prompting these people to either call their contact person or prompting them to fill out a form where they're going to apply for a phone conversation when they're ready to get started. And so by the time they get on the phone with the leader, who they are, who's behind the system, who's paying to have a share in the leads, they are already ready to go. And so I would not at this point sell them on the system. I would sell them on the network marketing company as a business. After you have made the sale, you've secured the sale there, the next upsell is going to be, hey, do you want to be part of the system, this co-op? You're going to need to come up with an extra $2,000 a month in addition to what you're already doing for the, for the network marketing company. Let's say I used 2,000 as an example, but you can, probably start at like 500 and go all the way up to several thousand, possibly. Without too much difficulty. Now, keep in mind, we are positioning this as a franchise, and so people who are looking for a franchise are already prepared to spend a reasonable amount of money. Okay, so this is not going to be, too much of a stretch to be asking somebody to spend that kind of money. But you do want it to be legit enough that he could probably get his loan approved or whatever it is that he needs to do to get that. Like it's got to be a legit operation. You just can't be, selling one of these. Whatever things. This has got to, you've got to treat it as a serious franchise in order to do that. But yeah, that's how I would handle it. And then because you've got a professional on it, basically the guys are now just sitting there getting leads coming at them because they're spending the money. They're not having to go and recruit people from the street or whatever. They're getting qualified, good quality leads come through. And they are, making sales, they're making money, and they stay subscribed. And you can grow the system a little at a time. The co-op can grow in strength as well as you get more people joining and adding their ad dollars to the puzzle. So that's how I would handle it. Perhaps I don't know that it would necessarily work. Obviously, I've never tried it. You might even be able to poke holes in my strategy and tell me I'm totally crazy for coming up with this. But this is how I would be inclined to go after it if I were to do this. So yeah, tell me what you think. If you have other ideas, if you found some holes in my strategy, or if you think it's a cool strategy, and we'll love to hear from you.